Welcome back to Third Man In. I'm Zack Phillips, and in tonight's video, we're going to be breaking down game number 28 of the Toronto Maple Leafs regular season, defeating the Pittsburgh Penguins here tonight by a touchdown. That's right, a shutout from Martin Jones, a massive night from Matthew Knies, William Nylander, Max Domi, Tyler Bertuzzi. Basically, anyone out there who was on the Leafs tonight had themselves a massive night, helping this team have a 7-0 win here against Kyle Dubas and his Pittsburgh Penguins. Sure, that's a tough one for him here. He thought there was going to be a candlelight vigil. They were going to do a ceremony for him on the board, thanking him for all of his hard work and time committed to the Leafs. But 7-0. Right in their face. We'll take a bunch of calls here tonight. We'll get people's thoughts on the game, on this Leafs team, on their response to what had happened the other night against the Columbus Blue Jackets in that crappy game. But a great performance for the Leafs here tonight. We'll discuss all of that and more throughout the course of the show. So if you do enjoy the content and you do like this stream, please hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe here to the channel if you have not already. It does help support the show, help support the content, help continue to grow things so we can add more and get more things involved here in the community and on the channel. So hit that like button, subscribe here to the channel. We will take calls here tonight. I know that there's a bunch of people texting me asking if they can call into the stream tonight. Yes, you can. I will get people in. I will get links out to people. We're probably going to have a bunch of calls here tonight. And now the other thing here is that it's a Saturday. We don't go to work tomorrow. Tomorrow is all about, well, I'm going to hit the gym tomorrow, but then it's going to be about going and laying on my couch and watching football for basically the entirety of the day. So that's about my day tomorrow. Probably try to put out a video for you guys if I could find any. But find anything to talk about for tomorrow. But we can run late here tonight. We'll run till I don't know. There was something in my head that there was like a statement or like a quote that you're supposed to say. The midnight fuel or the midnight steam. I don't know. Whatever it is, the midnight oil, whatever one of those it is. We'll burn the midnight oil. I think that's it. Yeah, so we'll try to do that here tonight. We'll take a longer time. But if you do reach out to me, I'm going to try to get everybody the link and get people involved here tonight. We do want to take calls and hear what people think. So we'll rip through those, have some conversations. And first and foremost, as we get into this, who better to have on to open up the calls here tonight than the man who has a segment created for it?
Okay, are you ready? Let's go! Don't go change it. Do it your way. Go down blazing. Don't go change it. Do it your way. Go down blazing. Sugar, spice, everything nice. Have a little class and do it right. I gotta say the way I feel. That's right. Buttercup, this is serious stuff. I love the people. You ready? Go. I don't get enough time in this show. I love the people. How's it going? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. How you doing? Lovely to look at and delightful to see. Love the hat. A wise guy, eh? You look good, really. You look good. Don't go change it. Do it your way. Go down blazing. Don't go change it. Do it your way. Go down blazing. Doing that one for the old grapes. Go down blazing.
All right, you heard it here. Don't go changing. Do it your way. Go down blazing. Let's talk about it tonight here, Gord. What a game for the Toronto Maple Leafs, 7-0. Gord, what's going on? Welcome to the stream. How are things, and how do you feel about this win here tonight?
Ohayou gozaimasu. Good morning.
Okay, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Ohayou gozaimasu. Third man in chat. How you feeling, boys? That was satisfying. Wasn't that satisfying?
Yes.
That was something else. What a great hockey game. What a great, last 7 games or so. The Leafs have been, grinding out, ways to get a point. That comeback game last game. Tonight, just Matthews out of the lineup. Everybody stepping up. Jones being solid and quiet and calm in the net. All the thing that really impressed me was all that we talked about it last time was the lack of support on the forecheck. Tonight, nothing but getting in on the forecheck, getting the support on the forecheck, getting the support back in the D zone, down low on both ends. Absolutely outstanding. What a great effort all around tonight. I don't know how I look at the shots on goal. I can't remember too many like grade A scoring chances by Pittsburgh. So a lot of that shooting was done on the periphery. And one thing that really impressed me about Jones was seeing a lot of that stuff through traffic. There was a couple of shots there, just absolutely solid through traffic. Just a great Matthew Knies with the Gordie Howe hat trick. Just unbelievable. Great game all around.
Well, and part of this too is like, it's the one thing that frustrates me a lot with this team and with what's going on. And it's like, they don't show up and start on time. They don't start on time. They started on time tonight. Like, they came out here, the first puck drop, they were ready to go, and they took it right to them. And you want to talk about a guy who brought that energy right from the jump? That would be Matthew Knies. Gordie Howe hat trick here tonight, but it's like, that goal that he scores, by the way, is not just, some nice goal that's going to go on highlight reels. Like, that's like a, highlight reel, but power forward, incredible goal where he cuts through the middle, makes a nice move in the neutral zone off the pass from Domi, enters the zone, drives wide with speed, drives with power, confidence, physicality, and then makes a nice move and he's able to chip it up into the over the shoulder. Then it's like, okay, you could call it a night. You know, you've made this incredible play. You've opened the scoring here. Matthews isn't playing. Like, that's it. You had your go to start this game, and Max Domi gets hit in the corner. I think it was mostly an accident that the stick hits him in the face. Nonetheless, the stick hits him in the face, and Knies pretty much does what every single person on that cheers for the Leafs kind of sits there and says, hey, we want that to happen, because nobody in the world is getting mad at Matthew Knies for jumping in and sticking up for a teammate there, because if you're a fan, you might be looking at it saying, well, pointless to fight in that spot. But you know who it matters to? Max Domi and the other guys in the room, because they're looking going, yeah, that kid will stick up for us. Like, that is a rookie here in the NHL who scored a legitimate highlight reel goal to open this game. And as soon as Domi gets hit, he goes in, not just drops the gloves and jumps the guy, but goes and hits him again. He stands up and he's like, let's fucking fight. And he sheds the gloves and goes at him. Like, that guy came ready to play from the jump.
Yeah, that was, what a silky tuck that was. I mean, he leans into the defender, cuts him off, and then puts his left hand down to shield off the stick check. But then pulls it back and does that silky tuck upstairs. Yeah. Unbelievable. What a sweet goal. And I think Gregor got jobbed on that disallowed goal. I mean, that was a nice.
Yeah, I was confused with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they would have called. I think they would have called for a review. Keefe would have called for a review if it weren't 6-0. But at that point, it's like beating a dead horse, I suppose. But Gregor, I mean, there's another guy just stepping up and doing the job. I mean, these guys, I think, talking about I agree with you on the slow starts, which is, I don't know, it's plagued them since I can remember.
A long time. Remember, this was a Babcock thing. Start on time. And it's like, it's still happening.
Yeah, and I saw, Kipper and Bourne were talking about that the other day, and I think Kipper was mentioning, Nick Kiprios, he was mentioning that, they know that they've got all that firepower in their arsenal, and I think maybe sometimes that can lead to a little bit of, we can always score, we can get in, and let's feel the game out or whatever. Where tonight, Matthews is out of the lineup with the flu, and I think maybe that kind of instigated them or got them going in the mindset like, hey, we gotta hustle on every puck. Like, this has got to be a full team effort tonight, and maybe that is the mindset that they gotta take their cue from that and go, hey, in or out of the lineup, we got to think like this all the time. And then once we do that, we know we have the firepower, but the firepower alone isn't going to do it. The firepower connected with the effort, and as I said, you got to have that support down low on both ends of the ice. And remember last time we talked, I talked about how in the defensive zone, the forwards are getting too far. They're cheating especially along the wall. They're cheating for offense along the wall. If you go back and look at that second goal where Riley rims it around the board, Gregor's at center ice. Like, what are you doing at center ice when the puck's behind your own red line in your goal line? He's cheating and that got picked off and ended up in the net, right? I mean, that's the type of things that have been plaguing the Leafs again and again and again and again, not having the forwards come back deep enough. You got to have those forwards coming back deep and supporting the D and giving them options to get out. But that cheating for offense has bit them in the ass again and again and again. And they seemed to get away from that tonight. Although I did notice it a few times tonight, it still happened. And it's still getting. You shouldn't be cheating for offense when you're up 4-0. And I noticed they were doing it. You know, guys want to get in on the cookies.
Point night,
and then but you got Sidney Crosby on the other side. So 4-0 in the first period is you better not take that and sit on that. So excellent game by Max Domi tonight.
Yes, goal, 2 assists.
Goal, 2 assists, skating, coming back, playing good sound defensive hockey. He made that bonehead play against Columbus where he tried to go through he went back to I guess it was Largison or something like that, and he tried to go through a defender. Like, come on, like those kind of mental errors have been plaguing the Leafs. Like those things they have got to clear up. But I got to give props. To Domi tonight. Props to Bertuzzi, had a good game tonight. Here's a question out of the blue. Sorry.
All good.
Next year, both Domi and Bertuzzi are on 1-year contracts, right?
Yeah.
Who do you sign?
Well, I talked about this with Dylan when he called in the other night. I think it was after the Columbus game we were talking about it. Or actually not Columbus, the Tuesday game against the Rangers. The thing is, there's multiple factors. Like, are you saying like you can only sign one? So that's what you're kind of pointing to here?
Well, I'm not saying that you can only sign one, but I'm saying if you had to sign one or the other, right?
Right.
And then you got to look at contracts, right? Right now, what's Bertuzzi making? 5.5, and Domi's making $2 million less. So if you can get Domi the center, if you can get the Domi the center cheaper than you could get Bertuzzi the winger, because obviously the Leafs are going to have to sign D, right? They're going to have to go out and get D, right? Obviously, right? So
here's my thought is
they're going to probably re-up Nylander, right? That's going to cost $10 million.
Yeah.
Unless they move on.
It would be Domi
Nylander.
for me. Domi would be, I would say Domi, but it's probably because it's cheaper. It adds a 3C. You've always kind of been missing that 3C role, that 3C playmaking, goal scoring ability in that spot. Like, you've gotten it, but probably not to the ability that Domi can probably bring here. The other thing is, I think we're going to see out of both of these guys, which is why I don't really like the answer of one or the other. I'd rather try to get both, but I think both of these guys are going to be massive playoff impact players. So I think we're going to kind of realize their true value then, and we're seeing that we love these guys right now. It's going to be much, much different when it comes to playoffs. Like, the amount that we're already at, I think is just going to take another step forward and get to that level. I think kind of to that point here, there is a super chat, so we'll get to this here. M&H Crush, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate it. He says, we know they still need a D or two, but the way they're starting to come together, showing grit, it seems they could push them closer to a playoff run than previously thought. Gord, I'm kind of interested where your thoughts are on that. I come on here and just take heat from a couple of people in the chat continuously about my thoughts on where this team is at and what's happening with them, like that kind of stuff. You see it out of Bertuzzi, Domi, Knies here displays it. We've seen Riley kind of transform a little bit into being more of a, I don't want to say tough. Morgan Riley is not and will never be classified as a tough guy or tough player, but he's got that little bit of snarl to him, or like that toughness to his game now, where it's like, okay, he's not just going to turn away and cower. Like, he's got that ability to ramp it up or stick up for guys, whatever. But you start to see that through some of the other guys. McCabe, obviously, another guy, I think. Benoit is a guy who brings that. You see it in a Giordano when he's in the lineup consistently. Then obviously Gregor looks like a guy who's bringing that. So I'm starting to see these pieces fill in around them. And I'm much happier because the one thing that I thought was going to be beneficial to this team versus years past, and interested to see your thoughts, especially answering what MNH is saying, but I was happy with doing this at the beginning of the season, before the season started, versus what Dubas was doing in the years prior. Dubas would sign guys in the summer that were Malgin and I don't know. God, throw out any 5'8", 150-pound, basically take me, and that was who he was signing every summer and putting into the top 6 of this team, and then being like, I can't figure out why we're getting pushed around. And it's like, well, yeah, no shit. They have all the skill in the world. It's going to come when you sign skill player after skill player after skill player. But then when you get to the trade deadline, he's like, oh, now we need size, we need toughness, we need physicality, and he's making 8 trades to try to bring these guys in. Yeah, you were probably going to have a little bit of a slower start here with the way that these guys were brought in, especially considering that this has never been this team's identity. But if you can get some grit, get some toughness, and play real hockey and not just like a point fest every single night, I think you're going to have a better chance at long-term success. The only pushback I'd have, and not to be negative, and this is really where I'm going to send it to you to get your thoughts, but I do also need to see it a little bit out of the 4. I'm not asking for fights. I'm not asking for them to go out there and take people's heads off or run people through the glass, but it's look at Morgan Rielly and adopt that. Like, be not afraid, if that makes sense. And I think once we see it out of the 4 where they can bring it, and then that kind of filters in, and it's just like, hey, everyone on this team has bought into this concept, then I think we're taking that next step. Until then, I think we're still slightly away. But otherwise, I think the rest of the team is headed in the right direction.
Yeah, I don't think the toughness in the terms of like getting involved in scrums or that type of toughness. No. But I want more mental toughness, like not sagging, not wilting if they get down a goal in the third period, or I don't like that. There's that kind of sag that it's like in their game, right? Like Marner wears it on his face, which is why everyone turns on Marner so quickly, right? He wears it. Yeah. His shoulders sag. He wears it on his face.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of mental toughness that I'd like to see them get over. Like
that's where I'm looking at as well.
Yeah, in terms of driving the net, getting down and
yes.
Getting in on pucks quickly and stuff like that.
Winning corner battles.
More of that.
Yeah.
We've seen obviously Nylander has transformed night and day what he was like 3 years ago. Let's say he's playing down low hockey and it's paying off in spades. Like, look at the guy. He's obviously hit the gym too, so that's helped him, and he's gotten some confidence over that. So that's a good thing too, right? So I think that it's the mental toughness rather than the physical toughness that I'd like to see more of, and we're not going to be able to notice that until the playoffs. But I think I'm sorry, what was the guy in the super chat's name again?
MNH Crush.
Yeah, so I think MNH Crush said something about like they definitely have to look. They're doing a formidable job. The guys that are filling in, great.
Yep.
I looked at what's his name, Lagesson, or I don't know how to pronounce his name properly.
Yeah,
Lagesson. I looked at him in a preseason. I go, oh, this guy, no, definitely not. He's kind of but I'm really impressed with him in the last 10 games or so. And I've been like both he and who's the other guy, Benoit. Both he and Benoit are really playing good defensively, and neither he and Benoit can move the puck with any amount of efficiency.
Right.
So, I mean, that's an issue, but that issue, like I said, can be solved by getting support down low. Like, you get support down low, and all they really got to do is bunt the puck. Just bunt the puck over to your supporting forwards, right? And when I say down low, that's not just one forward. That's your supporting center who's coming down low, and then the supporting winger who's coming down low. So you're getting layers of help down there to help those defensemen who aren't very good at moving the puck. They're not good at moving the puck, but they're really doing a formidable job defending. So good to see. And both of them don't shy away from the physical stuff and take the body. And McCabe is just a beast back there. McCabe is just every single game beast, like blocking shots, finishing hits. It has improved with the puck in the last little bit here. The last 10 games, first 10 games, a little bit sloppy, chopping broccoli with that puck, but he's really improved this game with the puck. He's always had the physical aspect, but wow, what a beast back there. What a pickup that was. What a pickup that was.
Tree Living's had some good pickups.
Yeah, you got to tip your hat where it's due, right? Absolutely. And you got to tip your hat to Tree Living and some of the deals, whatever, Reeves and
Klingberg's gone. That one's off the books.
And
it's
Klingberg,
done.
yeah. So luckily, the Leafs, the fate, has kind of washed that aside. But the other little pickups like Gregor,
Benoit.
Nice Benoit, Martin Jones, solid.
You know what's a sneaky?
What's
a sneaky in there that's a good one that they threw in. That's also kind of like, you know what? This is a pretty good way to kind of get it through things here. Is the Samsonov 1 year? Like, he was a restricted free agent. You take him to arbitration, 1 year. We're not locking this down long term. We're not paying you a crazy amount of money. We'll go to the arbitrator. Let them decide. 1 year. Let's figure it out a year from now again.
Exactly. That was a solid move by them. And, and Sammy had a good run last year leading up to the playoffs. Before he got injured, he was playing well in the playoffs. But they know he's got those psychological issues. He's very similar to Campbell, where he just gets down on himself and you can see it. And that game against Columbus, you could just see it. And, I'm surprised Keefe left him in for that game, but he battled in the third, so you got to give him credit for that. Although I didn't like that OT goal. He lost the net there, but But that was a shrewd move by Tree Living. Like, look, we'll give you another year. Like we still not fully confident in signing you long term. So let's see what you can do, knowing full well that they got a starter or a potential starter in Wall coming up, right? So a shrewd move there, and maybe a shrewd move like everyone was like, including ourselves, like Zadorov. Let's. But what were they asking for Zadorov? He ends up going for a third and a fifth or whatever. And there was
pretty
people
cheap.
On like I saw James Duthie. There is James Duthie. I don't know if it's out there on the internet somewhere, talking about trading Marner for Zadorov. James Duthie. So anything James Duthie on TSN says from here on in, you can just throw that out the window. I know the guy's not a hockey analyst. He's just a broadcaster, but it's out there. It's like, they need D, so maybe even, trading a guy like Marner might not be a bad idea. It's out there. James Duthie. Nice call, Duthie.
I never saw that.
Third and a fifth. The guy goes for a third and a fifth, and he's talking about trading Marner. Jesus. Some guys, man, they just don't know what they're looking at. Unbelievable. But yeah. Credit to Tree Living for some Camp turning things, he was off to a slow start. He's playing really well recently. Nice. Bobby McMahon getting his first goal tonight. Nice to see. To see.
Yeah. Couple of super chats here, Gord. I'll get to. Or actually, unless is there anything else you want to say before you?
No.
I know you
let's
have
get
to go.
The super chats. Let's get to those super chats.
Couple super chats here. First super chat, Joe Hill. Fights, chippy, goals, shutout, frigging dominant. Yes, this was a very dominant game here tonight. Appreciate the support, appreciate the super chat there, Joe. Thank you very much for that. But yeah, that's pretty much bang on. It was. You had the fight from Knies. You had, it was just toughness where it's like, hey, we're not going to back down from anybody. We're not going to be afraid of anybody. Like, this was a tough performance from the team. And Martin Jones, 38 save shutout. Great night there. You get contributions from everybody. You get, as Gord says, McMahon, first goal. Like, it was just a lot of good stuff going on from this team here tonight. But Joe, thank you very much. Another super chat. Arnav, thank you very much for the super chat here as well. Arnav saying, go Leafs go. We need another top 2 D-man to make a deep run. Yeah, I mean, top 2, you probably need at least someone who could be like a 2-3 in this if you're going to add anything, but I think that that's coming. I think that they're going to look to do that. I don't think Tree Living's done. He's traditionally built very strong defensive cores with Calgary there. I can't see him looking at this one and being overly satisfied just in comparison to what they had in Calgary, at least, looking, saying, yeah, we're going to be done. So I think that there's more to come, but I would agree with that for the most part. Gord, anything else? What else stood out to you here tonight? We do have a bunch of other people who do want to call in. I know you've got to get to some other stuff, so I'm not trying to rush you out of here, but yeah, there are some other people who are trying to call in tonight.
Yeah, no sweat. I got hockey practice to run to anyway. So yeah, I 100% agree with Joe. Great assessment, Joe. And Arnett B, 100% agree. The Leafs aren't done. They definitely need D. Those guys that are filling in are doing a heck of a job. Good job. But you know, like we talked last time, the NHL playoffs is a 2-month war. That's every other night, and you're going to need D. There's going to be injuries. It's physical. You need some D. You need some good physical D. And the Leafs are going to address that, I'm sure. Okay, here's one other thing that I noticed. Tavares got off the power play schneid with a goal tonight. And here's why he did. If you go back and look at that Tavares goal, he's totally in the goalie's eyes when that shot is taken, and then the puck bounces off the goalie, and he gets a gift rebound to tap into the empty net. Tavares on the power play is always at the side of the goalie trying to tip in pucks. Get in the goalie's eyes and tip in from there. Get in the goalie's eyes and then chip in rebounds. Tavares, why are you always standing at the side of the net trying to tip in pucks? It drives me out of my mind. Stand in front of the goalie's eyes. What are you, afraid of the puck? If so, get another guy in there who's not afraid to stand in front of the goalie. For crying out loud, take the face off and get off if you're too afraid to stand in front of the friggin' goalie. Jesus, it drives me up the wall watching their power play and watching Tavares standing at the side of the goalie every single friggin' time. Tonight he was going across it, so he just happened to get in the goalie's eyes by accident, and the goalie couldn't control the rebound, and he had a nice tap in. So that's one thing I noticed. Yeah, I know 6 1/3. I'm not telling. In a sense, I'm telling JT how to play, but I know I couldn't tie the guy's skate laces. The guy's got 1,000 points in the NHL. I understand that. You want to know why he hasn't got a goal in forever, a playoff power play goal in forever? That's why. Because he's standing off to the side looking for tips. Tonight he got in front of the goalie's eyes. He got a goal. I'm just making an observation. Guys. Don't think that I don't think Tavares isn't a heck of a player. He's a heck of a player. He's a great down low player. The guy does it. I think Tavares gets a bad rep by a lot of Leaf fans who talking about how slow he is or whatever. What he does is a huge benefit for the Leafs, and the guy's an excellent hockey player. But saying that, the reason why he hasn't scored on the power play, on a potent power play for so long, is because he's standing off to the side of the net looking for tips rather than in front of the goalie's eyes. That's it.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I don't think you're wrong. I don't think it's something like you're telling him how to play or like better. It's just there are things that we've observed about these players. There's things we're breaking down with this team. These guys are obviously all NHL players, so it's not like we could do what they're doing. Well, I'm sitting here hosting YouTube shows. Gord, you're calling in to the YouTube shows. Like, it's not like we're sitting here saying we could have done it better. It's more just, I do agree with it for the most part, and you're just, hey, get in front, and it'll help things out. I think I think to your point though, is also like the first power play unit has been a little bit stagnant over the last little while, and some of the opportunities that have come haven't necessarily been probably as dangerous as they could be versus what we see on that second unit, where you see them getting pucks to the net, creating traffic, and kind of jamming away at things. And I think a lot of that happens to be because people are in front of the net and are creating distractions, traffic, whatever you want to call it. And I think that, to Gord's point, like, you're not saying Tavares is playing poorly here. It's more just a matter of like, if he goes and creates that, it's not just for him. Like, maybe he still doesn't score goals, but I think it makes that power play itself be a little bit more potent as well. So I would agree with that.
He does a heck of a job getting pucks back down low. He does a heck of a job in that bumper position. He does a heck of a job in all of those things that, he does well. What he doesn't do is he doesn't get in the goalie's eyes. And then, I'm not an NHL player. I'm not an AHL player. I'm not a major junior player, okay? I'm just a fan who's looking at what's going on, and I notice that he's not standing in front of the goalie's eyes. Now, you can determine yourself whether it's better to have a guy in front of the goalie taking away his view of the puck or not. That's it.
Yeah.
Is it better for the goalie to see the puck or not see the puck? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's it. That's my only issue with Tavares. Okay. Other than that, I think the guy's a heck of a hockey player. Obviously, the guy's a heck of a hockey player. 1,000 NHL points. Yeah. Consistent as they come. And love the guy. Okay, I gotta go, and there's guys on the line. So great game, and hopefully I'll talk to you guys next week. So go Leafs, go! And hey, if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button, because this is the best Leafs channel on the net. So get on it, lads, and get back here. So keep her at it, Zach. And nice talking to you. See you next Saturday, chat, guys.
Perfect. Gord, thank you very much. No, not next Saturday. That's Christmas. No stream next Saturday. There's no games.
Christmas. I better do some shopping.
Yeah,
you wouldn't know it's Christmas here in Japan, because who knows, right? I mean, I have school on Christmas Day, so anyway.
Oh, Jesus. All right. Well, Gord, good luck. Well, I won't see you next Saturday then, but hopefully we'll see you real soon. Enjoy the holidays, however your holidays shape out to be. But I appreciate you calling in, appreciate you taking the time, and appreciate the support on the channel here as well.
All right. See you next time, chat. Take care.
Sounds good. Thank you, Gord. Appreciate you taking the time to do this here as always. We'll get through. We have a bunch more callers here calling into the show here tonight, so don't worry, we'll continue to get different voices, different opinions on everything that's going on with this team and this win here tonight, because this was a great win. I mean, a 7-0 win for the Leafs that comes off of a Martin Jones shutout. You get Matthew Knies, Gordie Howe hat trick. Like, that was awesome to see. That kid is a legitimate stud. Very, very fun to watch him on a nightly basis. I think he's going to be an incredible player. I don't know what his ceiling is, or potentially like where it kind of ends up, where he'll go. But a couple more callers to call in here tonight. So let's get to the next one here.
I know the drill, buddy. I know the drill.
Ludicrous speed. Prepare ship for ludicrous speed.
All right. Welcome to the stream for the second time. Called in on Tuesday as well. Dylan, how's it going?
What's up, my brother? How are you?
I'm good. I'm happy with this win here tonight. I'm happy that we got a bunch of people trying to call into the show. That's pretty cool. I mean, even in years past, when or like the last little while, the streams being really buzzing and the things are really good, we got a lot of viewers. Not everybody is in a position where they really wanted to call in all the time. People are wanting to call in here tonight. It's pretty cool. So I do appreciate that. I appreciate all the callers.
I'll keep it nice and quick. Well, there's
No, you don't have to. You don't have. I'm not saying you got to rush. I'm just saying. I'm just saying it's cool. We're in a good spot.
Paddy Pimblett is in the middle of, well, he's just walking in to fight, what's his name there? What the hell's that guy's name?
I don't know. Fighting. I haven't checked.
He's got cornrows. Anyway, something that I disagree with the last stream. I don't know who Gord is. I don't know if he's got a YouTube channel. I don't know what he has. Firstly, before I get into that, Mig and all the fellas that were commenting last stream, I really appreciate the comments. And by the way, fuck yeah, I got Dylan with the whiskey, and I've got the whiskey with me. I'll take a shot for all you boys right now. Fuck yeah, man. Fuck yeah. The thing that I disagree with is the other fella. Like I said, I don't know his accolades. I don't know anything about him. He's talking about John Tavares. Get in front of the net. Get in front of the net. Get in front of the net. You've got Tyler Berzuzzi right there. Tyler Berzuzzi is who you're paying to get in front of the net. Tyler Berzuzzi is right there in front of the net. So John Tavares is doing his thing. And if I'm not mistaken, he's over a point per game and he's 33 years old. So you can kind of fuck off with that. Tavares is awesome. And anybody that talks shit about Tavares, like Tavares came home to Toronto regardless of his cap, and if you agree with it or not, he came home. We have been outlawed for how many years? I know. I think his point.
Yeah, Dylan, I think his point is more just on the power play specifically. It is more like, hey, in the power play, get to the front of the net to allow some of these opportunities. But I do see what you're saying, but that's more my thought. Is I think that's kind of his point of reference there.
Oh, hey, James B. I am definitely buckled. I got hockey. We won 7-0. Of course, you got to take a shot each time the Leafs score. Today's my my night off, and and then I got UFC to watch as well. Oh hell yeah, I'm buckled. But yeah, man, I mean, I don't know. I just I disagree with. I think it's due to Twitter and how many people like down talk John Tavares, but he's on like a point per game pace and the amount of points that he's gotten as a Leaf. You know what I mean? Like that's why I have to defend him.
I also saw a comment in the chat that said, "Oh, Tavares would have been gone if his contract wasn't so bad." Few things. I really don't think. I don't think his contract is bad. I don't. I think that it's probably unnecessary, but he would have got paid more than what he's getting paid here in Toronto by every team around the NHL. So I don't think his contract is bad at all. I think the only thing you could complain about is that it was potentially unnecessary because maybe you didn't need to sign that caliber of player to the team. But you have an opportunity to sign another franchise centerman who's going to be another leader and your captain, then I think you take it. And the other point of this is when he's saying, oh, he would be gone if it wasn't for his contract. If he was getting paid less money, then people in Toronto would never even ask to trade him. So I think the whole thing on that is moot. Look, next year, maybe the money looks a little bit worse or whatever it's going to be, but the cap's also going to go up. And we thought the cap was going to continue to go up the whole time. John Tavares is exactly who we thought he was when we signed him. We signed him to be a point per game player. He's been a point per game player. It is what it is. He's not going to leave Toronto. He's going to sign an extension. He's probably going to take a little bit less money here to stay with this team, retire with this team, be the captain until he's done playing hockey. There's no complaints there for me. I'm happy with him. I don't think that there's anything that should be complained about there. I do got to quickly get to these here, Dylan. I don't want to let them go by. So super chat there from Keep Beliefin. First ever super chat here on this channel. I do appreciate that. But Keep Beliefin says 6 1/3. You talk a lot of crap, but haven't even called into the show yet. Put your money where your mouth is. Keep Beliefin. Appreciate the super chat. Anybody who wants to call in is more than welcome to call in at any point. You guys are always welcome. You can message me on Twitter,
Yo, wait,
Instagram.
what?
Like we've got other people, Discord as
just
well.
$78?
Yeah, that's our guy Michael from Hong Kong. There,
Dude,
sent that donation.
hey,
Yeah,
man, great to
yeah.
see you supporting Zach. Like, awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
I appreciate that. We'll still get through. Anybody's welcome to call in, just to that point. But keep believing. Thank you for donating that. Super chat here from Joe Hill. Joe, thank you for the super chat.
That's amazing. Great job, Michael. Who else? Joe Hill? Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. That's awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, Joe, thank you. Joe, I'll just read. Joe said, just imagine Knies when he's 26, absolute beast. Yeah, I agree. I think that like this guy is a rookie. Remember that. Like he's going out there like a power forward, continuing to build, continuing to grow and develop as a player. Goes out there and fights tonight, sticks up for his teammates, hits. He's got all these Matthews style plays to his game that he makes, where it's the way he approaches the corner, the way he attacks the front of the net, the way he drives by and protects the puck. And then on top of that, he's a physical guy who's not afraid of contact, not afraid to go in and mix things up. And he's got more career fights than Nylander, Matthews, and Marner combined so far. So as a rookie, pretty happy with him, and I'm looking forward to what he continues to do. Dylan, we can probably break this one down together because Michael did send this super chat, so I want to get to this and we'll talk about this. Thank you for the super chat.
Yeah, that's awesome. Go ahead.
Michael says, Zach, I have been critical of this team under Dubas. Beating them 7-0 felt so good. Observing their play this season, I find myself feeling more optimistic about the team's results during playoffs. So, couple different layers here. So, first of all, critical of the team under Dubas, Michael was. Dylan, I don't know if you remember last year, Michael was in there. He was talking about this team, and he was telling me that they wouldn't even make playoffs, and he would send me a bottle of Dom Perignon if they didn't make the playoffs. Unfortunately, it's a little hard to send Dom Perignon from Hong Kong to Canada, so he instead tipped the money to the stream, which I do appreciate. But
this guy, like, what the hell, man? He's got a crush on you or something. He spoils you, big.
But they made the playoffs. He was critical. Obviously, it didn't work out. They went around. Then that's kind of the extent of that. Now, it does feel good to win this one here 7-0 tonight, because I can tell you that Jonas and Myrtle and those guys are all probably sitting at home now. They've driven home, or they're out for dinner with Kyle, and they're all sitting around the table having a candlelit vigil and crying and mourning about the fact that he's no longer in Toronto, because every single piece that comes out about anything Tree Living does, it's like the worst thing in the world to ever happen to this team in this city, whereas everything Dubas did was incredible. So there are people on either side of the spectrum. This one feels good to see this one get through the uprights and have a massive win with a touchdown against the Penguins here. Now, as far as the other point here, and Dylan, we can kind of talk about this. I'm interested in your thoughts on where this is at. He says, I find myself feeling more optimistic about the team's results during playoffs. I personally have not quite got there yet, 100%. My thought on the team is I need to see consistency, because a game against Nashville like that was great. The game against the Islanders, not so great. The game against the Rangers, incredible. The game against Columbus for 40 minutes, terrible. This game tonight, incredible, right? It's this flip-flop where, yeah, you're pulling out points, and it's nice to get those, and it feels good to be able to walk away and see points in the standings and see yourself move up. But I think that we can get so caught up in the results every now and then that we let the process slip by, and you can kind of sit here and realize maybe we didn't deserve some of these opportunities. Maybe we didn't deserve these wins or the points or whatever. And we could be happy about them as fans to get them and add them to the standings and add those in and put ourselves into a better position that way. But to a realistic sense, it doesn't feel so great that way. Now, I'm looking for the consistency. I like what I'm seeing out of the supporting cast. I like Bertuzzi. I like Domi. I like Yarncroke's contributions. in that third line role, not having to be a top 6 guy. I love Matthew Knies. I like what we're seeing out of Noah Gregor and that add into this lineup, what he does there. I'm liking where McCabe's game seems to be building to. There's a lot to like here right now. But what are we going to see out of the Big Four when it comes to playoff time? That's still up in the air. Can they kind of turn and be a little bit different in terms of their identity? Can they be tougher? Can they be mentally tougher like Gord had talked about there? Can they be a little bit physically tougher where they can rise up, to the level of play come playoff time? These are some things that I still want to see, and I think if you display them to a consistent level throughout the regular season, it'll allow people to have a little bit more faith and belief. But for you, Dylan, are you in a place where now with this team where you're feeling more optimistic, or are you closer to my page? Are you a little bit in between? What are your thoughts on this team and where they're kind of heading towards right now?
I think we need to upgrade the defense, and I'm very confused about the goaltending because Joseph Wool has been fantastic, amazing, top tier, if you would say. But like, what else do we got? Like, although Samsonov, when he's on his game, it's amazing, But
yeah,
I'd like, what are we gonna do? If Samsonov continues to play like he has, then are we gonna keep Martin Jones up? And then you risk him after, 9 games where he has to get sent back to the minors? Like, I'm worried about the goaltending and the defense. Those are the 2 main things. So, but that being said, I am very optimistic, and I know that we have the grit to compete in the playoffs. We've got people with, as Trillian would say, snot, and as I would say, grit. But there's still that cautious optimism. And I hope for the best, but as a Leafs fan, you hope for the best, you expect the worst. Every season, you hope for the best, expect the worst.
That's probably fair.
Now, I see that people are giving 6 1/3 a hard time in your chat there. Now, although he's got his opinions, he's a pretty good dude. Come on, be nice. Just because he's our social justice warrior of the chat doesn't mean you gotta bully him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair.
So,
no, everyone's entitled to their opinion. I'm not going to kick people out unless they're like being abusive in the chat towards other people. Mostly for myself, I can take it, so I don't really care. But yeah, everyone's entitled to their opinion. It's more just, hey, share your opinions in there. I may agree, I may disagree, and personally, my mentality and my thought process, I'm not afraid to say when I disagree or call stuff out that I disagree with. So that's what it is.
Last stream I was I had to watch it afterwards because I went to bed. I didn't even see them get 5 goals, But last stream I rewatched it. I always watch your streams because you're the best Toronto Maple Leafs streamer, YouTuber that there is. So I was watching it and I could just see you had the hat off. When the hat is off, that means you're pissed. You are pissed. The hat was off and you were going at a couple people there on your stream.
Well, I knew coming into it. I knew going into that stream. I was prepared that this is what was going to happen. They tied the game in the third period and they played well for 20 minutes. And people are going to be like, oh, this is a good game because you got a point out of this. And I knew that this was going to be a war for however long that stream lasted. And then I was ready to go and into that one to argue my side. So yes, you're right. I was ready to go going into that.
Okay. Now I am watching UFC at the same time, but I would like to bring up a topic that I had messaged you about. And some people may like it, some people won't. Now, last year, James Reimer refused to wear a Pride jersey. Okay, and when you understand that, Pride jersey, you're supporting, respecting, and just being part of society in general. But when you decline to wear a Pride jersey, it seems as if you get jumped on for that. And I know you don't have too many comments. You're probably like, Dylan, shut up. You're drunk. Dylan, shut up. Like, I see you smiling right now.
You're free to say what you want. Yeah.
Is James Reimer with this whole pride jersey thing where he was getting just ridiculed. The guy grew up Amish. He is as Christian gets. I am not the religious fella in any type of way, but if I were to explain that somebody's a Bible thumper, it would be James Reimer. He is one of the most religious dudes in hockey. And same with these Russian fellas. They get crucified anytime that they would represent anything like that. It's the cultures that you're raised in. So what I say for the chat, which some may agree and some may disagree, like you don't always jump on a bandwagon to bully somebody when you don't know where they came from. And that's my opinion on that. Now, other than that, I got a question for you.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Who was your player of the game? Who was the shitty player? Who was the player of the game? Who was the shitty player of the game?
The shitty player of the game was Jake Gensel. The trip that he had on Yarncroke, the high stick that he had, I can't remember who it was, McCabe maybe behind the net. Like, Jake Gensel was the shitty player of the game. You watch the way that he played. He was not very good there for the Penguins. He stuck out to me as not great player tonight. Now, the player of the game, I'm going to go with Matthew Knies. Rookie, Gordie Howe hat trick, scores a beautiful opening goal, an incredible opening goal there, fights, sticks up for his teammates, and it's like, you know what? Whether you as a fan think that is needed.
Stop that. Super chat's more important. You can continue afterwards. Michael.
Oh, I got two here. So I'll go super chat here. First of all, super chat from Joe Hill. I appreciate that, Joe. There was a super chat from him. Joe says, shout out to Pridham for that $100,000 bonus for Jones to keep other cheap-ass teams away from claiming him off of waivers. Yes, that was brilliant. Like, that little booby trap that got thrown in there where he was going to have to be paid that clearly kept other teams away from paying him and picking him up once he got sent down to the Marlies. And it's paying dividends here. Like, that $100K, I've talked about it countless times. The money that comes out of the pocket of MLSE when it's something like that, it's a drop in the bucket. $100,000 could fall out of like an executive at MLSE's pocket tomorrow morning, and he wouldn't even notice that money is gone. So $100K to Martin Jones to have that, brilliant little booby trap as well. Michael here, another super chat.
Like, should you just live stream 24/7? Jeez. Making bank over here, eh? Look at what a guy, eh?
Well, I've debated doing some live streams with like playing be a GM mode or something like that, but I don't know. I don't know what the interest would be or if it would be there, so we'll figure it out. But Michael, I appreciate the super chat.
Yo, Michael, is he from Hong Kong?
I believe that's where he is, yes. Michael says, I have more confidence with this team because of the new GM tree over Dubas, who is crazy for 5'9" players. Yeah, I'm not really going to sit here and say, I have more confidence in Tree Living than I do over Dubas. I think that you kind of got to wait and see how this plays out, because I liked the teams that he built in Calgary. He got Markstrom. That's a legitimate goalie. I liked the defense that he had built there. I think that those were legitimate.
Yo, no.
I know. I got to answer the other ones first, though. I like the defense that he had built there. I like the defensive systems that he had. I liked the forward groups that he had. There was nothing he could do about Gaudreau. Gaudreau had to decided to move on. Tkachuk didn't want to stay in Calgary. I think that has to do more with the cities, maybe the arenas, than it does with the fact that like they had built a good team. And those guys just decided to leave, and you got to make do with what you can when that situation happens. And think about how different things have been for Tree Living here in Toronto than it was in Calgary. Calgary, they have a little bit of a different budget. So you're not going to be able to just go and spend money willy-nilly or fire people or bring people in that you want to bring in the same way maybe you can here in Toronto or have the same level of staff. And it's not like Calgary's a cheap team. They're not. It's just different with MLSE. And then the other thing is Matthews wants to stay here. He re-signed. Nylander wants to stay here. He's not saying he's going to leave. He wants to stay here. He wants to get that deal done. Tavares is going to want to stay here. Marner is going to want to stay here. Like, you're going to have all these guys who want to stay, which ultimately makes things a lot easier to sign guys when they want to stay, as opposed to having to figure things out because these guys want to leave. Over time, we'll see how things go for Tree Living, but I'm happy with them. And then another super chat. Super chat from Michael. Michael, thank you for the super chat. Michael says, after 2 years, this burdensome 91 contract and is secure his services under a more viable deal. It grants Tree an ample time frame to rectify the deficiencies stemming from Dubas mistakes. I appreciate the super chat. I talked about it a little bit, but kind of in this stream so far. But just to reiterate, I don't have a problem with the Tavares contract. I think, and I talked about this when Sandberg called in as well, and I talked about this a little bit earlier here. I don't have a problem with the contract in terms of we shouldn't have paid him that. If you want to have a problem with the contract, it should more so be that it was an unnecessary signing. Not the money was wrong or the term was wrong. It wasn't. He took like $1.5 million less than what he was being offered on the market to come here and play in Toronto. Like, you understand that demand was there and he's performed to what he was paid. Like, everyone looked at him and was like, you're the captain of the team. You're going to be a number one center. You play the power play. You can play late game situations. We know that he's not a great skater, but he can put up points, point per game. That's what you're going to be paid for. That's what he was paid for. And that's what he's done. And he's been the captain in Toronto. He's been a leader. He's the one who scored the overtime goal to get them to the second round. Like, he did all the things that you kind of had hoped would come. It's more just you're looking at him. He's not a 120-point player. So people are like, oh, what the fuck? But again, I think that the argument could be made if you say, oh, we shouldn't have signed that player. We could have spent that money elsewhere. But I really would strongly push against the idea of that contract itself is bad. And yeah, I mean, in terms of like Dubas contract mistakes and stuff, there's been a bunch out there. You can say the Tree Living ones are bad, but again, I look at the Tree Living ones and it's like John Klingberg. It was only a 1-year deal. He's out of it already. Klingberg, LTIR, we're not going to see him again. Bertuzzi, if that deal didn't work out, 1-year deal. These deals are very easy to trade if you don't like them or bury them in the minors or whatever. Ryan Reeves, you don't like that? I strongly believe that they needed a Reeves type of guy in the locker room. Maybe not that guy on the ice, but that kind of player around the team because it's the character. It's bringing everybody together. It's all that stuff that helps build a cohesive team atmosphere. I think those things were necessary, but the money probably wrong. But look, he's injured again here. He's going to be out for a long time. He's probably going to get LTIR. So, yeah, I'm interested to see what Tree Living does here. I'd rather it be sooner than later and have to wait. But that being said, I like what he's done. Dylan, I do have some other people who do want to call in here tonight, so we'll try to get to them and get them here on the stream. But before I get to that, what are your thoughts? What are your final thoughts? Anything about this team here tonight? This game, predictions, anything before you get out of here. What are your thoughts?
Okay, so Colin McGillis, don't talk about politics or religion, pal. You're blowing it. I've learned my lesson. I won't do that again. Now, as for San Jose offered JT $13 million. Yeah, 100% true. I think the Leafs got a really good deal. I had heard like a rumor that his wife or something got a job inside of a hospital or something like that just prior to him signing with the Leafs. It was like a Reddit post. As for predictions, I just, the whole 10K subscribers thing. We gotta keep what why is there 73 people watching and you've only got 28? How many? 29? thumbs up?
It's at 42 there now. 42 likes now.
Maybe I have to maybe I got to refresh it. But everybody hit that thumbs up button. This guy's awesome, man. So
thank you, Dylan.
Sorry I didn't come up with the same energy that I did last time. Maybe
No, you did. You're good. And again, everybody's welcome to come on here and give their opinion and thoughts on stuff. I'm happy to have that. I want to hear from everybody. I want to hear from all different areas of Leafs fans, whether you're in Hong Kong or you're in Japan, you're in Toronto, you're in Clarington, I don't care where you are, how old you are, your thoughts on the team or the way that you're going to view things. I want to hear from people. I want to hear their thoughts on whatever's going on. So I'm happy to have people call in. You're more than welcome to give your opinion, Dylan.
One more thing that I have to say. Yep. 6 1/3. I know 6 1/3 is a regular viewer. He's always voicing his opinion, which is great. Keep that energy, keep that shit going. It causes conversations, causes debates. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm gonna make fun of you a little bit, but you're awesome. 6 1/3. Keep on doing what you're doing, buddy, because it literally provides streaming content. So anyway, I hope everybody has a fantastic night. I hope you're not hungover like I am tomorrow. And Zach, you're the fucking man, bro. Like, you're awesome. But shave that mustache. It's ugly.
Whoa. No, I don't think I'm going to leave it. This is the only part. These things here and like the little curl that goes on in front.
I'm talking about the little stragglers. The stragglers, hey?
These here?
Hey, everybody, though, seriously, like the chat in here has been electric. And Mr. Hong Kong there, keep on keeping on, buddy. Like, this guy, out of all people, deserves it. This is
Thank you.
Yeah, man. He deserves it.
Thank you, Dylan. But I appreciate that. I appreciate the support. So, I really do.
Fuck off for now there, Mr. Phillips. And I'll see you next week stream.
Sounds good. I look forward to it. Enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy the UFC fights.
All right. See you, dude.
All right. Thanks, Dylan. Appreciate it. All right. There you go. Dylan calling in, giving his thoughts. Yeah, a couple of things before we get to the next caller here. I do want to kind of touch on and say 6 1/3. As much as I may go back and forth with you, always welcome to give your opinion. I don't want you to stop doing that. I don't want you to stop giving your thoughts. I just might disagree with them, and I'm gonna voice that. I'm gonna tell you when and why I disagree with them. So I appreciate the support. I appreciate you commenting. I want to hear your thoughts, but I just might disagree. Super chat here as well from Aaron. Aaron, appreciate the super chat. Thank you very much for that. Aaron says, I respect your hustle and hard work. Thank you. We'll continue to do that here. He says, I feel like a broken record, but please, for the love of God, bring in a D-man. 100% agree. And I mean, look, it's a prediction. It might not happen, but I think they're going to bring in a D. Like, I just don't think Tree Living looks at this and is satisfied with this D core. I don't think that he's done. He said in the summer, I want to improve the D. He got Klingberg, and he still said, I want to improve the D. It's kind of being a thing where he said, we need to tighten up defensively. We play loose defensively. Like, all of this has kind of just led me to believe that he is not done here. There's more to come for him and for trades that will happen, whatever it might be, to improve this roster, improve this D core. I don't think he's done here. And as well, before we get to the next caller, Michael also saying, Zach, I lived in Canada for 20 years, graduated from Western in 95, work in Hong Kong now. Pretty cool. There you go. See, that's what I'm saying. We got people from all over the place coming in. I saw someone in here in the chat earlier from Nova Scotia. We had Gord call in from Japan. We got Michael sending super chats from Hong Kong. I mean, I would assume Dylan is probably from the Maritimes if I had to guess. But to help break it all down, let's get to our next caller here.
We're going to have to go right to ludicrous speed. Prepare ship for ludicrous speed.
All right.
Hey, Zach,
from my neck of the woods, Colin McGillis calling in here. Are you in agreement here? You think Dylan's probably from the Maritimes?
It's tough to say, man. Like, I don't know. I've met people that told me that I've got a bit of an accent, but I'm from Durham Region, Ontario, so I don't know. Maybe it's the hockey guy in me. I don't know, but
I think that's
yeah, no,
probably what it is.
yeah. But no, good to talk to you tonight. First off, good that you made it to your own channel. You and well, definitely you, because you took it on longer, but you and Goody were absolutely fire on friggin' Leafs Digest. Sorry, I've had a couple beers tonight. I might be a little bit
It's all
slow,
good,
but
dude.
not
It's all
not
good.
into the whiskey at least. But yeah, no, but no, good to see you got your own channel going, man, and hopefully we can get it back up to Leafs Digest numbers. But yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so I got a few notes tonight here, because I realized making notes was probably good for this podcast. Actually, have some flow to it. But
Yeah.
yeah, so first off, I talked about it last year when I called in, like the lack of, and you've touched on it too, like the lack of emotion from the top four is like it. Honestly, guys, like first off, for the snowflakes that are probably going to say, "Oh, this guy's all negative," da 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 da. Like, no, like these are absolutely world class hockey players. Like they're
Yes.
top notch talent. Like, you know, probably three of the four of them are top 10 in the league, which is, pretty insane to have on one team. But the thing that they don't do that the rest of the top 10 players in the league do, and you've already touched on it, Zach, is stick up for their teammates, have emotion, and
Yep.
and you play high level hockey, I played high level hockey. When it starts getting gritty, like when it starts getting more intense and there's more emotion, and you're getting in scrums, like either you get hit hard or you give a hard hit, like it wakes you up. It
Yep.
gives you something. It gives you something to play for, right? Like it gives you a
Yes.
reason to play, and it gives you a reason to be on the ice and win and want to win. Otherwise, like Gord touched on it before, you're playing California roller hockey every night, right?
Yeah.
Like so that like this top four, like 90% of the time they're playing goddamn California roller hockey, getting two points a night each, like going on huge streaks, but.
Yep.
Anyway, sorry, I went on a little bit of a tangent there. What I was
No, you're good.
segueing into though was Matthew Knies tonight,
Mm.
right off the bat, and I think this set the tone for the game, and you'd probably agree right off the bat, and this surprised the shit out of me, to be honest with you. It fired me up watching it. Scores, obviously, great goal, and then right away sticks up for Domi and actually drops the gloves. And you even touched on it. More fights than Marner, Nylander, Matthews combined already in his rookie season. And the fact that, I don't know, it like honestly, like the fact that Marner and Matthews and Nylander haven't even, attempted to drop their gloves yet. Like, I don't know, man. Like it's almost at this point, it's like it's kind of like, to put it in perspective, it'd be like you're like a 30-year-old man who hasn't lost his virginity yet. You know what I mean? Like these guys got to drop their like these guys got to drop their gloves at some point. Like lose it. Like get that off your back. And
Right.
and it's not it's again, you've touched on it. It's not for the sake of dropping your gloves, but like it's like anything in life, right? Like when you do it once and they're not going to die from it, and you realize like, okay, that wasn't so bad. Maybe I could
Mm.
do that again when I need to. And by no means they need to do it every night, or even, even every 15 get. You know what I'm getting at, right? Like anyway,
Yeah, like
what I'm
I
getting
I
at, like
agree
that.
with you. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, because like I think the
So
point is here with what you're saying, if I'm interpreting it right, and you can stop me if I'm not, is but it's more just like a matter of people look at them and say, well, they put up Matthews on pace for 70 goals or whatever. Like you want to look at that and it's like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And I get that. And that's obviously the benefit that they bring. And I think to even your point is like, we're not actually saying like these guys need to be fighters or whatever, but every now and then one of these guys gets rocked or they get cross-checked in the face in front of the net. And it's like, that's the moment where you stick up for yourself. And you're right. You're not
right,
going to die in these situations or anything like that. But McDavid sticks up for himself. Draisaitl sticks up for himself. Kachuk, Barkov, like these guys around the league, McKinnon, they go and stick up for themselves. And then all it does is it kind of just shows to everyone else, hey, we're not going to be pushed around. We're not going to go out and fight all the time to do these things, but we're not going to be pushed around, which sends a message to everyone else. Truly, like, they can't, or they don't, and they shouldn't give a flying fuck what the fans think about, like, oh, fight, don't fight. It's more about what does the message that's sent to your own teammates and the messages that's being sent to other people. And it's like, those are the moments where I think we're just kind of looking for a little bit of mental and a little bit more physical toughness to these guys. And actually, the one I would probably say, okay, maybe fair enough, Joe saying, like, Matthews has had surgery on his wrists. Okay, that's probably fair.
Dude,
but
who
again,
hasn't had surgery on every body part in the NHL? You know what I mean? Like, guys have surgery all the time, dude. Like, you could probably. But again, on that point,
it's like slash a guy in the knee, cross check a guy really hard back. Like, you know, like there's other ways around it to show a little bit of fight, a little bit of pushback, a little bit of toughness. That's kind of that's the other thought, and I think that's kind of what you're getting at. Is like it sends that message.
Yeah. So like, I mean, I totally understand what Joe's getting at, but like to rebuttal Joe, like, has Marner had surgery on his wrist? Because I watched him get punched in the face by Kachuk 5 times in playoffs, and he didn't do shit. You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, there's no And like, I even asked my dad tonight watching the game, because I was too young to watch Dougie Gilmour, but I was like, because I heard stories about Dougie Gilmour, like he was a gritty little prick, and my dad was like, honestly, Dougie Gilmour was probably Marner's size, but gritty as hell. You know what I mean? So like size isn't an excuse to me. Like, you can still play a certain way in a competitive manner, right? Anyway, you know what, we're getting on, like, I'm personally, I don't want to, you know, get on too much of a tangent on this. So I'll go to my next point, but you kind of get the gist of what I'm getting at there. But yeah, no, I personally thought that what I'm getting at is like Knies setting the tone for the team tonight. And you've touched on it before on this, like when your first line skilled players are the ones willing to fight, it's kind of sends a trickle down effect to the rest of your team. And like, I think we were able to see that tonight. Like after Knies did that, like I was kind of taken back, because like every scrum in front of the net, like Tavares was getting at it with Crosby, like, you know what I mean? Like there's tons more examples in the game where you kind of saw the whole team have some pushback, and maybe it could have been because Dubas was up there with his little butt buddy Spezza, but you know what I mean? Like I don't know, I kind of saw a lot more pushback, and it was very refreshing tonight. But yeah, no, I don't want to get on the negative too much about the top four with their lack of push, you know, fight and emotion, but.
No, but it makes sense, and it's fair. It's warranted, and I think that's part of what I'm saying here is like, I'm gonna be happy with these wins. I'm gonna be happy with these dominant performances like that. But it's kind of like what I said, where it was like string them together, because Saturday versus Nashville, incredible. Tuesday versus the Islanders, meh. Monday against the Islanders. Tuesday against the Rangers, incredible. Thursday against Columbus, piss poor. Tonight against Pittsburgh, incredible. Like, this was awesome from this team here tonight, but let's string it together. Let's see the consistency. And then the other kind of thing is, you're saying like, hey, bringing the toughness in for these guys, for this team, it's there, and it's there from the supporting cast now. Knies, Bertuzzi, Domi, McCabe, all that stuff. Like, I love that. But now it's more, okay, can the identity of the team also be filtered through the big guys? Because I think, maybe I'll be proved wrong, but I feel like if they don't adopt it, which again, it doesn't mean we got to be like the Charleston Chiefs here, but if they don't adopt the toughness mentally or physically, then in the playoffs, that's going to be a moot point. We're going to all look at this and be like, well, they never brought it in. They never had it. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Like your culture, the culture of the team kind of stems from your top guys, and you can look at the best teams in the league and the top teams in the league, like their teams play like the best guys play, right? Like Marchand's going to get in your face. Pasternak's going to get in your face, and their whole team plays that way. Like I could give numerous examples, but I'm not going to go on that. But yeah. So and the other thing, like we're obviously on here discussing specific games, but like
Yeah.
When I call in, I want to touch on the issues that have plagued the team in the playoffs in past years too, right? Like I'm not just calling people shouldn't be looking at it, so micro. They should be looking at it more macro, like the bigger picture, right? Like, the whole fucking game to game, you're not being positive. It's like, okay, I get it. You know what I mean? Anyway, so moving on here. Sorry, I kind of ranted on there, but so Jones.
No, Colin, you're good, dude. You're good.
All right,
Yeah.
all right. So Jones, you even talked about it the last podcast there, but Jones is definitely the best goalie they have right now. Not including Wall, who's hurt. I mean, just who they have available
team,
right now, not on the IR. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
And they probably won't do it because Keefe's fucking brain dead, but they should ride Jones out as long as they can, in my opinion.
He's the hot goalie.
Yeah, and that's going to get the team, I think, on the roll that they need to get on. Yeah, not much more to say about Jones. Like, he's a solid NHL goalie. You went over his history last show there. So, great shutout tonight, though. Good for him. I'm sure that
38
feels good.
saves.
And, right. Yeah. Insane. Again, like, definitely not saying trade Matthews ever. That's not what I'm getting at. But the fact that they can string so many wins together when one of their top four is out, because they always do it, man. Like, and I don't know if, like, it would be hard to look at their record throughout the, however many seasons these guys have been together. But like Matthews has obviously had stints in the past where he's been out, and their team always goes off when he's not playing. And I'm not saying trade Matthews or anything like that.
No.
But what I'm getting at is I think they would be okay parting ways with Marner, because, you got all these Leafs fans who become obsessed with these players, and it's like, these guys can still win without one of the big guys out. Like, that's how good these good, like, their top four are, right? Like, they can still do well without them in there. So anyway, I'm not even saying trade any of the big four. I just find it, that was just something I wanted to throw in there. The fact that they can string together so many wins when their better guys are out. You know what I mean? And like, I don't know how good they did when Willie waited till Christmas to sign the deal in that year. But like, I'm assuming they did okay up until that point. Did they not? Do you remember he sat out all the way up until like December? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, they can go without one of these guys. And it's just, I'm not saying trade them, I'm not going to be that guy, but like, the fact that there's examples of them doing well with one of them missing, I don't know, it's just interesting to me. Anyway, so we already touched on this, but big four in playoffs, Marner getting punched, taking it, not doing a single thing. Matthews getting jumped, doing nothing. Like, that stuff's embarrassing. And anyway, we already touched on a bunch of that stuff. So let me see here. What do we got here? Oh, this is a little side talk here for you.
All right.
So what? Maybe the chat can fill us in on this too. So what do you think Cory Perry did? Because this is the first time ever that, like, I could be wrong, where a player gets, kicked off a team, but no one knows what he did. Obviously you heard he banged Bedard's mom, which is fucking hilarious to me, but and obviously unfortunate that rumor made it that far. But like, I don't know, like, maybe the chat might have a little insight. I don't know if you've heard anything, but I just find it weird that the team never, you know what I mean, like, released anything on that.
Yeah, and I think that unless lawyers are involved in stuff, they probably should say something. like this is one of those situations where it's like it doesn't seem like the law is involved in this. He made a statement, but everything is being pretty vague. It just feels weird to have this kind of hidden like this.
Yeah, it is weird. Yeah.
Especially, it doesn't feel right coming from this organization with the history that's kind of gone on, especially over the last little while. I don't know. I would say it's hard to kind of pin it down. I think that basically reading through the tea leaves of what was put out from both parties would have to do with some type of like drinking situation based on what was put out by Perry.
Yeah.
And there, and like I would assume there was something to do with that and being at a team event, but it would have obviously had to have escalated to a certain point where they can terminate your contract for conduct detrimental to the team.
Yeah.
I would kind of leave it at that personally, more just because like I just don't want to be like you mentioned, the Bedard thing is like it's funny, but then it's also like you realize at the end of the day it probably affects him and his family, and then it's kind of that sucks.
Yeah.
And I just don't. I personally, look, I got no problem with you asking me the question. I just personally don't want to like speculate because I got no clue. I can read through tea leaves to a certain extent based on his statement and the teams, and then after that, it's anything else is speculation. And I personally just don't want to do that. I hope you understand that.
Oh yeah, man. No, for sure. And by no means was I, insinuating that Bedard's, you know what I mean, family was involved or anything. I just, yeah.
Yeah, no. I know.
Because like he must have had to do something like really bad. Because even thinking like this is close to home. Like remember a few years ago when Matthews friggin' mooned the female security guard when him and his buddies were drunk in Arizona. So like how much worse, you know what I mean? Like what the hell did Cory Perry, you know what I'm saying? Like anyway, we'll leave it at that.
Yeah. No, I think it's fair. Like it's like I do think something bad probably had to happen. I feel like if this was anywhere other than Chicago, it would probably be like, okay, yeah, this is something bad. We can forget about it. This is one of those like, hey, you guys have just had a bad history of covering things up. This was probably not the ideal time for you to just not say anything. So I agree.
Yeah, no.
Anything else? Anything else for you, Colin, in terms of the Leafs?
Yeah. So I will say, screw Dubas, first off, but you know what I think's hilarious, and you might agree with this. So Tree Living signed Domi, Bertuzzi, and then Reeves in the off season. I don't even know if Dubas stayed. I think he might have been gunning for Carlson on the Leafs.
Well,
instead of signing those guys, but like, that's so Dubas to sign a completely offensive defenseman that's not going to help us defensively at all, and we're going to go
that
through
doesn't
the same
solve problems.
Yeah, exactly. So I just found that funny, and like also like he was on their number one power play in Pittsburgh. I don't know if they took him off or not, but like there's talks of their power play being horrible this year. Anyway, I just find that hilarious. The friggin' guy who loves signing guys for huge contracts. But and then the last thing a couple last things I'll leave off with. So anyway, tonight was amazing. Great win. Whole team effort. There was 7 goals from 7 different guys. Obviously a shutout. Played as one-man unit. Completely positive. Love the effort. And like Gord was saying, like support all over the ice, finishing checks.
Yeah.
All that stuff. Like great way to build off it. They still don't have enough D, I think, to win a cup. And I'll finish on this. It's just a theme that I've thought about recently. It's like there's been the reason why they can't sign legitimate secondary players, and you know the reason for it. It's because they've put so much cap into 4 other guys, right?
Yeah.
And I read a comment like maybe a week or 2 ago, and it dawned on me. I never thought about it like this. Like there's been comments in the chat and in previous years and stuff saying like it's not the secondary guys, it's it's the secondary guys that are the problem. It's not the Marner, Matthews, Nylander that's the problem.
Yeah.
And the thing is someone commented this, since Matthews, Marner, Nylander came in, the only guy that stayed on the team, and I'm pretty sure this is accurate and factual, the only guy that's also stayed on the team since those guys have been on the team for how many years have they been on the team? Like, what is it, 7, 8 now?
7, yeah, I think 7.
Yeah, so the only guy that's not been shipped out or switched out is Morgan Riley. They have switched coaches, and they've switched pretty much their entire team other than these 3 or 4 guys. Mm-hmm. Like, am I wrong? Like, you know what I mean?
I'm trying to think through the roster, but that sounds right. Like just quick run through is Bertuzzi new, Knies new, JT came in after them. Riley was here before, stayed. All the goalies are new. Gio brought in, Brody brought in, McCabe brought in, Timmins, Liljegren, Sandin was here and then he gone. All the other defensemen this year, Robertson, Domi, Yarncroke, Kampf, McMahon. Yeah, that would be accurate. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So like, you know what I mean? Like what? Like, I don't know. Like these fans saying it's the secondary players. Here's the issue. The reason why they can't sign solid secondary players is because here's the theme I'm going to touch on: sacrifice. These big 4 can't sacrifice $1 million of their salary, and they can't sacrifice their bodies, or you know what I mean? They can't.
Yeah.
You've heard this, Zach. Take a hit to make a play. Well, the thing I would say,
yes.
Take a hit to make a play. Give a hit to make a play. Sacrifice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
the thing I would say about it too is like when you're talking about the secondary, the tertiary scoring, and you're saying like, oh, they don't have it. That's the problem. And then people look at it and be like, well, when the big boys don't score, the secondary guys struggle to score or whatever. And it's like, okay, I get that. And you're gonna, the secondary and the third tertiary guys do need to score. They need to score and contribute more. I 100% agree. But I think it's completely unfair to put that on them when the reality is we're basically kind of like coddling the top 4 to say like, well, they didn't score, so they need help. Well, it's like, okay, every year in the playoffs, those guys, they got to contribute. And if they contribute, guess what happens? No one looks at the bottom guys. Because like in the game against Columbus the other day, people are coming in the chat being like, Domi didn't look great tonight. Well, the reason you're keying in on a guy who played 12 minutes tonight is because the guys who played way more didn't really contribute to the first 40 until the final 20, and then that's why you're digging into the bottom third. So if those guys perform, then we don't ever look at the other guys. So I think it's kind of like a combination of things there.
Yeah. And just like to stem off that quickly, I know you got more callers, so I'm going to try to get all these points in quick, but like Nylander, phenomenal player, nothing against him, anyone who's a Nylander fanboy. So his highest points was last year, 87. He's performed well in playoffs, but like, you know, he's never had like an insane breakout playoff series, right?
Yeah.
But so what I'm getting at is like, I feel like the Leafs are at a disadvantage when they're signing guys. So, like, why does a guy like Tkachuk, who's had back-to-back 100-point seasons, sign for 10? Like, would you say, like, why is Nylander at the same, you know what I mean? Why is he going to be signed for the same number as Tkachuk?
Well, I don't know. Yeah. Okay. So what I would say is like, I don't know what'll happen now moving forward, but the problem that was created by Dubas because he made an internal issue with this team where it was like once the one contract came in with Tavares, then the other guys looked and said, let's get some money here as well. Matthews gets paid, and then Marner says, I want to get paid. He gets paid. And now every time, every one of these guys, the comparison no longer becomes external. And Dubas allowed it to to be that way. It would be, oh, Matthews makes this, so I want to make this. Whereas every other team in the league looks and says, well, Pasternak makes this, Rantanen makes this, you'll make this because you're this comparable to that. They just looked internally and said, you're paying these guys on this team, I'm also going to get paid. I think tides will change here with Tree Living. The other part of it is, like, realistically, and I know people might disagree, Matthews probably could have got more money. Like, to score the way that he scores, he probably could have got more money. I think Tree Living is a little bit stronger in negotiations with these things and was kind of like, hey, you're not going to get that from me. So we'll see. I'm interested to see how it goes going forward. But you're right that it's been that way to this point.
Yeah. No, absolutely. All right, man. Well, I think I've touched on all the points. I know there's more callers, so I won't keep
I
you
appreciate
here.
you taking the time. I appreciate hearing your thoughts and for you tuning in here.
Some final thoughts. I know I'm everyone in the chat, like, I'm more touching on, the team as a whole and their lack of success that's been plaguing them. By no means wanted to be super negative. Great win tonight, and honestly, on paper, except for their defense, I think this team has potential to hopefully go far in the playoffs. We'll see, but I don't know.
Yeah, I want to see it on a consistent basis, and I'll jump in there in terms of, like, yep, I'm all in on this team. I'm still positive on this team, but it's like, we know they're going to be really good in the regular season.
Right.
I need to see a little bit more, a change in character, a change in the way they conduct themselves through the 82 to show me that there's even a little bit of an extra layer to this team versus what there's been in last year's 82, because otherwise this is the same 82 year after year after year, and it's the same result in the playoffs. So show me a little bit more and I'll be even more bought in on this team. But otherwise, we know they're a really good team. Are they a great team? To me, that answer, it has not been answered. So I'm interested to see.
Right. Sorry, man. Quick question. Why do you think this franchise, and I'm talking the big four, MLB, NHL, NFL, NBA. I don't think there's a team who's had this much lack of success in any of the big four sports who has not made a coaching, GM, or player personnel change with the lack of success. Why do you think that is with the Leafs organization? Like any other team, you could look at, like, so many examples. You know what I mean? Like, they never change anything. Why do you think that is? Is it the fact that
I feel bad, Colin, because you're asking a good question. I genuinely don't have an answer. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, no, I don't know either. I personally think it's the fact that ownership knows they're going to fill seats and they're going to get the same revenue year after year. And the fans are going to keep drinking the Kool-Aid that we're going to win a cup. And
I mean, like, they did change Babcock. They did change Dubas. But they
didn't really change Dubas. Like, he kind of dug his own grave there. Like, they would have kept him. I think they would have kept him, man. But anyway, no, I won't. I won't. But I just find it totally, like, mind-boggling, the fact that they, can't switch something up. Anyway, I'm interested to see what the other callers say, and I'll leave you here.
Well, I appreciate you calling in here, Colin. Thanks for taking the time to do this. You're more than welcome to call back in anytime. Thank you for the support, and look forward to hearing from you the next time you do call in. Oh.
Yeah, thanks, Zach. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Thanks,
Have
Colin.
a good night.
Merry Christmas. All right, there you go. And our next caller, Colin McGillis, calling in, giving us his thoughts here. I did see that there was 50 likes hitting the stream, so we'll get to this here. This has been a long stream. We got another caller on to close this one out. We'll get some of his thoughts. I see a bunch of viewers in here, and still some of you haven't hit the like button. So if you haven't, please hit that like button. But 50 likes, thank you very much. I appreciate it. You guys know what happens. 50, 100, 150, 200. We do the smelling salts. Thank you. Let's get to it. All right. Whoa. Let's get the next caller in here.
Right to ludicrous speed. Prepare ship for ludicrous speed.
All right. Next caller on the line. You've heard him on here before. Always great to hear from him. The man himself, you know him in the chats as Alex. Alex, welcome to the stream.
Thanks for having me, Zach. How are you doing tonight?
Not too bad. I'm feeling pretty good about this win. I'm happy about the way that they handled business here against the Penguins. I think it's funny as hell that Kyle Dubas and Jonas Siegel are trending on Twitter in Canada right now. I think that that's a troll job by Canadian Twitter users everywhere. But I'm happy with the way that this one went down. I'm happy with the complete play, start to finish. They never let Pittsburgh get a sniff. They never let Pittsburgh start to feel like they could be climbing back into this one. They handled things, whether it was completely from an offensive standpoint, shutting things down defensively, not allowing crazy looks on Jones, and then also Jones playing an incredible game here tonight. Add in physicality, add in got every guy on this team finding a way to contribute and chip in here, and add in a fight from Matthew Knies. This was an incredible night for this Leafs team. I'm really happy with the performance here.
Yeah, I agree with you, Zach, 100%. And to go with like the game here, it was nice to see a shutout, especially for Martin Jones. I feel like, it's going to give him a big confidence booster, right? I know he, pulled out through New York the other day, but I mean, it's always a good thing, right? So not clean sheet. I'm thinking of soccer. Sorry. I talk about a lot of sports, but no, shutout for the night. And yeah, and I find it ironic that it was Brody was out and we had the Liljegren come back. So, that's some good, fresh faces to see because we haven't seen him in how long has it been? Beginning of November he got hurt, Liljegren? Or end of October even? I can't remember. It's been a while though.
Yeah, it was a while. It was a couple weeks. Also, I do have to get to this super chat here. There was, it came up in the last one. I don't want to let it get too far here. Michael just reminded me as well. So, super chat. Super chat here from Michael. I'm sorry, Michael. Michael said, Zach, if Perry did bang a player's mom, the Leafs should sign him immediately. This team needs more bad boys.
I saw that on Twitter too. Someone said it's not the first I've heard that.
Yeah. I appreciate.
I don't
the
have a
super
comment
chat.
really.
Thank you. No, I would just say that's probably not the type of character you're looking for to add to your room.
If that was the case. If that was the case,
correct. We're speculating. We don't know for sure, but if that was the case, yeah. Still, no. Alex, I'll let you continue.
Yeah, what was I saying all about Liljegren? Yeah, so it was nice to see him back, and especially for us to have a shutout, when he his first game back. So think about it like this: we didn't even have the greatest defensive core in our organization that we could have right now because of injuries, right? So those guys stepping up like Legason, Benoit, like we talked about before, they've been instrumental for what we've been doing with so many injuries, right? So I'm just happy to see it, and like I've been telling you, we need to trade for a defenseman, but like I told you, I don't know, earlier this week, I think it's coming. So we'll have to wait and see for that.
Yeah, and like to your point, I think that people just need to kind of remember or take into consideration with some of this, like when we're talking about these things, is like has these guys, like this decor filled in well with these players stepping up and being next man up mentality. Yeah, they have. And they've done a really good job, and I think we should be happy about that. But where we need to pump the brakes, and where we need to pump the brakes on things like with Noah Gregor, and when we're realizing all this stuff, is like these guys still are not Stanley Cup winning defensemen. Like Benoit, Legason, Timmins, Liljegren, those aren't four guys you want in your D every single night together in a Stanley Cup run. Like you want a little bit higher. Those guys can probably be in there down towards the bottom. They could be in there if you're going to have 7D or whatever. You can find ways to use them, but you're not looking at those guys saying these guys can be in here all together on a heavy
this is our
workload,
group.
anything like
That's
that.
not our group.
Right. That's not the group. And when I see people talking about Noah Gregor being like, this guy needs more minutes, this guy needs to move up in the lineup, it's like, okay, Noah Gregor is playing really, really well on the fourth line. He's done a good job in these couple of games that he's filled in the top line positions. Knies being out, he jumps in the game against the Rangers, jumps in against Columbus, jumps into spots here tonight where he's up and down into different positions. I'm 100% happy with him filling in those spots. But I think we need to pump the brakes a little bit on like, oh, this guy's a top line player. You know what I mean? Like
top six player.
Noah Gregor is a really he's a really good fourth line guy, and he's a guy who can fill in up top and help out and be a useful player in those. But for 82 games, he's not a top six player. So let's be happy with him for what he is and not try to jump these guys up too much. There's still room for improvement, whether it's adding defensemen or you want to add to your bottom six, whatever it is that you think could continue to bump up this team. But yeah, I just want to think about, let's not jump too far ahead of ourselves on some of these things.
Oh no, for sure. We talked about it the other night about Noah Gregor, and like we both said, we praised his his play so far this season, and I just think, like you said, people need to not jump the gun. Like it happens a lot with all Leafs fans. That are like, when you see it on social media, it's like people get so hyped up about a player having a great game. But like, there's still positives to take from that. But I mean, don't jump the gun and think, oh, Noah Gregor's a top six player now. Like, relax. Like he can maybe bump up on your third line when there's someone sick, or shoot when someone's injured, right? But I mean, he's not a top six player. He's just a guy that can fill in and play a role that that every team needs. So like we said, we both agree that he's been solid, and yeah, there's not really much else to really say about it. Just people try to speculate too much of them. Oh, what if he played more minutes? Oh, what if he played with Marner feeding him the puck? Or, you know what I mean? There's so many little things, but everybody needs to pump the brakes on that.
Yeah. No, I agree. Anything else for you for this Leafs team and this win here tonight?
Well, honestly, I was happy to see Domi getting a good opportunity. That was one thing for me. Domi having a good opportunity, and I think he had a great game. Making an impact right away with Knies. That goal Knies scored off the start of the game was just beautiful. I loved the play. I loved his passion when Domi was getting, destroyed on the boards for a bit, and Knies just, I don't know, he just let it loose. Like, you don't see that a lot from a lot of players in the Leafs ever. And like, Knies just got pissed. And I just, man, like, that just needs to spread through the locker room. Like, I just love to see it. Like, I was out of my chair just like fired up for the kid. You know what I mean? Like, shoot.
Yeah.
I had a smile on my
everything
face.
about it.
Everything about it. The whole thing.
The reactions, like all of it. It was just awesome to watch.
Yeah, and like people, we all get so excited about these hometown guys and stuff. These guys from Ontario, and some of these players that aren't even from here are showing more passion than the guys that are from here. If you think about it, not all of them. I'm just saying some of these guys, right? Like you're looking at Knies, and he's from Arizona, man. I'm not saying you don't care about your hockey team, but like, rookie season, you're not entitling your rookie to fight necessarily, but he did it. And he showed some passion, and I've been liking his play all season, and he just came back from sickness too, like an illness. So he came back and he just like, he's like, after this, I'm making a moment for myself here, and just decided to, just have a great game. So between those two players, Domi and Knies, they really impressed me. There was some chemistry there. So for a first game together like that, it was nice to see. But obviously, it's just nice to see different things, because in the playoffs, you never know what happens. Not to say I want something negative to happen, but I mean, as John Tavares went down in the Montreal series, you need to know what kind of depth you have and what you can do about moving guys up and down the lineup. And right there, you saw Domi possibly can, I'm not saying he's a first line player, but you could still utilize him in certain roles, right? As an offensive, playmaker. He's a pretty solid playmaker, man. And he's got the grit, and like we've talked about before. It's just nice to see. It's refreshing, and the support, like you were saying with who was it before? Colin, I think you were saying. You were talking about, I think it was Colin or the caller before, but you were talking about the supporting cast and whatnot, and like Brad Treliving, the supporting cast that he's brought in. Besides, obviously, there's been a few mistakes, but that's okay. Nothing's always perfect from a GM, but I mean, it's been solid, and I just hope these players can continue to grow throughout the season, build chemistry, and like, who knows, maybe things are starting to pick up with, the supporting cast, and, start getting more points, showing more heart. And like, like I said the other day, I think we're showing more grit, throughout the season, and I just hope it continues. And Brad brings in some more grit on the back end because that will definitely help us for sure.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I 100% agree. I think there's still more to come, so I'm excited to see what Brad continues to do. I mean, you look at some of these mistakes. The thing is with these mistakes, when I look at them, is that they have all been basically short-term things. Klingberg, 1-year deal. Reeves, I mean, look, it's a couple of years, but it's something that's easy to get out of because it's not like they signed him to something ridiculous there.
Variable, basically.
Then
we know that,
right?
yeah.
It's easy to make. It's easy to fix. Like, yeah, you'll be on the hook for $200K against your cap. $200K, that's fine. You can find a way around that. It's better to have $200K than it is to have a 1.3 million. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's things that you can figure out. It's easy to get around some of these things. Brandon Pridham is obviously involved in a lot of this. Shanahan's obviously involved in a lot of this, and then it's just True Living obviously has a little bit of a different philosophy of how he wants to go about things and what the best way to do it is. So yeah, I'm happy with it so far. I don't think it's been that bad. From signing perspective, I think a lot of the stuff is easier to get out of. But Alex, I'm gonna get you here to let's dig into a couple things. You know, on the show we haven't gotten to it yet. We're an hour 45 in. We haven't done our grades of the game or our play of the game. So let's start here with our play of the game for tonight. All right, play of the game here. I'm going to go to you first, Alex. You give me yours. I've got mine. I already know what it is, locked in. Anyone else in the chat, send your play of the game. Interested to see what everyone else has if we're all on the same page. What do you got for us, Alex? What's your play of the game tonight?
Well, I guess kind of to break the news like this, but I mean, I think I already kind of explained a little bit. I just love the whole Knies, that whole first bit of the game with the fight, the goal, like that's like my play of the game in regards to his goal. And then, you know, right away, like for the whole Domi, you know, thing where he fought, like, I think to me, that's the play of the game where I think that just, I know we scored right away, but I feel like that just woke up the bench. I know it was early, but like, not that the guys didn't have energy, but you see that out there from your rookie and you look at him and you're like, guys, we gotta fucking win this game, man. Like, you know, we better be fired the fuck up right here. Let's go. And you know what I mean? And they did it. Like they fucking played a great game and you can't take that away from them. So that's mine, you know. I know other people might have other things, but that's just my thing. I love the fights, and I just love when you see a guy that hasn't fight, and I think that just wakes up the team. You're like, holy crap, man! Like Revo's gone, he's not gonna be fighting, so you got Matty Knies doing it, so it's all good.
My play of the game is gonna be the Knies goal, the first one. Like these guys came to play right away. They came to play early in the game. That's his first shift. He goes out there and does that. It was disgusting. That's my play of the game. You touched on it. We've talked about it a couple times throughout the stream here tonight. It was just gross. Like that was sick. And then I got to go like a couple honorable mentions here because 7-0. There's going to be a lot. Honorable mention, the Knies fight, obviously. Just the response, jumping in for Domi, doing that. I loved that. Then on top of that, I would go with the Domi goal. The drop pass by Knies to Domi as he's cutting in stride.
Filthy.
Domi doing the leg kick, getting the goalie to freeze, basically like fall over, stepping around and burying it into the empty net. That was gross just from that. Even Marner tapping that one through to Knies as he's going in motion. And then the other one would be the Gregor goal off the Bertuzzi assist. Bertuzzi battling away, gets the puck back off the rebound, makes a play through the guy, off balance, turns, gets the puck, taps it over one touch to Gregor in the slot, who rips one home. Like that was pretty disgusting as well. So there's a bunch of other things, but those are those ones I'll give for those ones I'll give honorable mentions, but my play of the game is definitely the Knies goal. Just set the tone, open things up like that. What a stud. Let's get to our grades of the game. And I want to see everybody send yours in the chat, so send them in there. We'll get to them. We'll see where everyone's at and if you're in the same place. But grades of the game.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Play of the game. Brain is 2 hours into this one. Also,
the smelling salt. That's what it is.
For work, smelling. Yeah, it's a gong show right now. Grades of the game. Alex, what do you got for me here? What's your grade of the game tonight?
Well, I don't know what everyone else is gonna think, but I think easily like an A plus. Like we didn't let in a goal. We scored 7. So I don't know what else you could ask for. Would you want 10? Like, I don't know what else to really say. Like 7 solid. It wasn't like just a game where like we just outskilled the opponents. Like we had some, we had grit. It was a complete game, I think, and it wasn't even with our icing our best team. No Matthews. I didn't even we didn't even talk about that. Just no Matthews, and we stepped it up. And, don't, like I said, Domi playing on that first line. So it was nice to see a complete game, grit, good defense. Jones getting the clean sheet, Jesus, shutout. I keep bringing up soccer terms, but
that's all good. I think you can say it. I think it makes sense. It was a clean sheet.
Yes. But anyway, so you had the shutout, and it was nice to just see the team. The boys are buzzing, and got to keep in the flow of this, and we'll be good.
I have no disagreement. This is an A plus, and like on top of the obvious stats that you see, it's the other things as well. So like the obvious stats: 38 save shutout from Martin Jones. You get the fight shots from Knies stepping up. Like it's just like all this stuff is like you gave up no goals. You had the 38 save shutout. You didn't really feel like you gave up too many high danger chances against. They kept their heads amongst them. And then it's the other stuff. Like Matthews didn't play here tonight. So you have to get contributions from other people. Legason, Benoit, these guys are still in your lineup. Liljegren has his first game back. You had no Brody tonight either, by the way. Then on top of that, we're looking at like they started on time. And I think even that would have been something where, hey, maybe if they had a slow start and they won 6-0, that might have been one of those things that I kind of came into this one and was like, hey, you're missing such and such of the game. Because like if they started like shit and Pittsburgh maybe took it to them but hadn't scored, I probably would have still had that in the back of my mind. They didn't. They didn't allow that to happen. They never let Pittsburgh back in this one. They never let it feel like Pittsburgh had a chance. This was a great game by the Leafs team from start to finish. This was domination from these guys. Like I was really, really, really happy with the way that they played from start to finish. Obviously happy about the fact that it's Dubas on the other end. It's not because it's like, oh, I dislike the guy or anything. It's more just because of the way that things ended here when he left and how all of a sudden it just became like these Leafs fans weren't Leafs fans. They were Dubas fans, and that pissed me off. And then it was like every writer that you saw in Toronto was like, this team is mourning. The organization is mourning. It's like, shut up. He's a general manager. Guys get fired. This is the business. This is sports. Like, this is the job. It is what it is. Every sport. And then like I'm reading an article yesterday or 2 days ago from Jonas Siegel about how there's some problem with Max Domi here tonight.
I saw that. It was some BS.
And then it's like, if Dubas signed that exact same contract, how he would have been writing about how this is the greatest signing in the history of the NHL. It's just like the flips like that. That's what pisses me off, where I'm like, yeah, if this was him, you wouldn't be writing this. And then Domi has a goal and 2 assists here tonight. He's a thorn in their side. He draws a couple of penalties. Like, this was a great game from this team all around. You get contributions. Also, by the way, I didn't bring this up here yet. I seen people talking about this on Twitter. And normally I'm a person who is like, hey, some of these points in your stats have to actually tie in to what's happening on the ice and like make sense to help things out. I seen a lot of people tweeting and talking about, oh, Bertuzzi doesn't have many points in the last little while. Obviously, he takes care of that here tonight. He has a good night, but it's been one of those conversations that's been going on. I really got to say that this is one of those ones, especially if you're a Leafs fan. Don't pull up the box score when it comes to Bertuzzi on a nightly basis. Don't pull up his season stats. Watch him. This is a guy people might get upset with because they're going to say, hey, you're being paid such and such amount of money and you're not scoring a crazy amount of goals or getting a lot of points or assists. This is a guy, for me, get that out of your head. Forget about that. That's not what this guy's about. That's not the impact he's going to bring. So if you're a Leafs fan, just disregard that the best that you can. That's not where his value is. It's the tenacity. It's going in corners and winning battles. It's sticking up for guys. It's pissing people off in front of the net. It's driving the net hard. It's these little things that he brings to the game that just do the right things, that open up space and give everyone else opportunities to excel in their positions. It's why Nylander and JT had success with them. It's why Tavares is continuing to have success. He is a guy who opens up space for other people. Don't look at the stats with him, which I know it's hard because they're not great. I mean, he got some here tonight, so I'm happy about that, but they're not great. This is one, forget it. Move on. His play on the ice is speaking for itself. And by the way, I genuinely believe that in the playoffs, we're going to look at this and be like, this was a good signing. So no matter if the points are here or not right now, we're not signing him for 82 games of the regular season. We're signing him for what'll happen in the playoffs.
Well, for sure. I was gonna say, if you didn't bring up the playoffs, I was gonna bring it up that I think that in the playoffs that's where you're gonna see more of his impact. Not that he's not impactful, because right now I think he's actually very, very impactful, like you were saying. I think he makes a difference out there, and like you said, doesn't show up on the score sheet every night or often, but my dad and me were like, that guy's going in there, going in the dirty areas, winning these puck battles, and like it's making a difference. It's the little things that some people don't notice, or just so clueless, or just see the goal and you're like, oh my gosh, John Tavares just scored this nice goal, and like they don't see the buildup, or they just miss these little things. And it's like Bertuzzi's a big part of that line, and I think the more as the season goes on, he's gonna get better. And guess what? Playoff time, Bertuzzi's gonna cook. You watch, Bertuzzi's gonna cook. Domi, he's probably gonna cook. That's his kind of style. Knies, we only saw him in the playoffs a little bit against Tampa and Florida, and guess what? I think he's gonna cook. So you know what I mean? Like, it's exciting to see. We're not even in April. We're not even close to April yet, but it's getting there. It's getting there. So some positives to look at, and I agree with you about the Bertuzzi thing, 100%.
All right, Alex, I'll get you out of here. We're going to wrap this one up. We're almost at 2 hours here on this stream, so it's been a long one. But before we get out of here, any final thoughts, predictions, hot takes, anything you got?
Okay. Trying to give I want to give a hot take. I'm just trying to think of what it is. We're getting hyped about Knies and Bertuzzi. I feel like next game Bertuzzi's gonna pot 2 goals. That's my hot take. He's gonna pot 2 goals. He's gonna have a 2-goal night, and we're gonna look like dumbasses talking about it, saying, "No, he doesn't. He's not on the score sheet." And the next night, he's gonna score 2 goals. You watch, and I'm gonna hop on the stream with you, and we're gonna talk about it. That's my hot take.
It. I like the prediction. I like it. Alex, thank you for calling in here. Thank you for waiting and closing this one out. I do appreciate that. Appreciate you taking the time here to do this. And I appreciate the support you continue to bring to the channel. So thank you very much for that. You enjoy the rest of your night. If you're going to be watching the UFC fights, enjoy those. If not, get yourself a nice sleep. And we'll talk to you the next time the Leafs play. I haven't looked at the schedule yet.
Me neither.
This has been an exhausting week. I have no idea. It's been a long week of work, all that kind of stuff. Get ready for the holidays.
Looks like it's Tuesday.
Here. All right. Perfect. Alex, I look forward to the next time I get to talk to you. So hopefully it'll be Tuesday after the Leafs win a game and your prediction comes through here.
Alrighty. Have a good one, Zach. Thank you.
Thanks, Alex. I appreciate you calling in. There you go. That'll do it for tonight's stream, for tonight's callers. Wrap up, obviously, play of the game goes to the Knies goal. Honorable mentions to the Domi goal, to the Bertuzzi assist, the Gregor, the Knies fight. There's a lot of good stuff that happened here for this team tonight. Really happy about this. We get 4 different callers here tonight. Thank you to Gord for calling in, Dylan, Colin McGillis, and then Alex to close this one out. 4 different calls, 4 different opinions on what is going on. A lot of questions, a lot of thoughts on this team. So really happy about that. But thank you to everyone who tuned in. Thanks to everyone who hit that like button. I do appreciate that as well. If you haven't already, hit that like button. Subscribe here to the channel. Turn on notifications. You get notified every time new videos drop, every time live streams happen, all that kind of stuff. So thank you guys very much. I appreciate the support. Appreciate that. Trying to get back to 1,000. So anything you can do to help out will be greatly appreciated. But other than that, this has been live stream for game number 28 of the Toronto Maple Leafs regular season, defeating the Pittsburgh Penguins here tonight. Kyle Dubas' Pittsburgh Penguins. 7-0. Appreciate all the positive comments there in the chat as well, the support you guys continue to bring. So thank you very much. Thanks for the support here. Let's continue to grow this thing. Leafs win this one 7-0, move to 16-6-6 on the season. See you guys later on this week. Keep believing.